10 p.m. here in Norway. Let's get started. Heart-brain coherence meditation, like every Monday. Today I want to talk a little bit about our heart and our intuition, because I was asked to. Actually, because I reposted a post on Instagram from a year ago that talked about how emotions can block our communication between our heart and brain. Well, not block it, but more interfere with it. And it's all to do with intuition as well. I want to explain this because, I always talk about the heart creating a big electromagnetic field around us, measurable several feet away from us. And this field acts like an antenna as well. It gets influenced by other electromagnetic fields, other things that happen in the world around us by other people, even animals. We have some studies showing that when we get closer to, for example, a horse that is very, very powerful heart rate, a very powerful electromagnetic field, and that horse influences our electromagnetic field as well. And we can see that in how our heart rate variability changes. And actually, we can, with changing our feelings and emotions, change our electromagnetic field around us and influence the heart of the horse and the other way around as well. We often synchronize. If we don't consciously take care of our feelings and emotions, we tend to synchronize with one another when we come close. So that happens between animals and humans, between animals themselves and between humans, of course. But this electromagnetic field is we take signals in. And when we do heart-brain coherence meditations, when we do heart-focused meditations, we tend to train that muscle there. And we can actually use our heart as a sixth sense, to say it that way, our intuition. Many people doing this technique for many years, they notice they kind of feel or sense that something is about to happen. Recently I talked to someone that was driving a car, and he got all of a sudden a kind of voice or idea in his head like, you should brake. And he didn't brake, but because he somehow got notified of that, he became more alert. And a deer crossed the road, and because he was more alert, he saw it and could brake in time. But he said to me, if I didn't have that strange voice, feeling, or idea in my head of, you have to brake soon, I might have well just gone on autopilot the rest of the road and just hit that deer because I would have seen it too late. And such things happen a lot to people who practice heart-focused meditation. Why? Well, think about this. When we use only our five senses to measure or observe what is going on around us, those five senses create an electromagnetic signal that goes through to our brain. So when we see something, light hits our eyes, that gets turned into an electric signal that goes through the nervous system, to our brain. And what our brain does is that it tries to make sense of those signals. And all that takes time. Our intuition, when we use our heart as that sixth sense, and we practice heart-brain coherence, where we optimize the flow of information between our brain and our heart, because the whole system gets in balance and gets coherent, what we notice then, and because we have no real way of interpreting those signals in a way that makes sense for us, we get those feelings, those ideas all of a sudden, and we tend to often just notice them and don't listen to them. And we don't listen to them because of our upbringing. I mean, that's just imagination. No, that can't be true. Those kind of things that block, those are emotions that kind of block the interpretation from the signals from our heart. But by listening to our intuition and knowing that this is true information, you can actually change your reaction to it. And like that one guy said to me, I felt that feeling, strange feeling of something is about to happen. I got an idea in my head that I had to use my brakes very soon. And a few seconds later, I saw that deer crossing the road. But if I didn't have that feeling, if I didn't have that idea in my head, I would have gone on autopilot and I wouldn't have been aware enough to observe that deer crossing the road. And then I would have hit it. It's a perfect example of listening to our intuition and not letting our upbringing, our belief system getting in the way. Because that little voice in our head, that little gut feeling, that little idea you get all of a sudden, those are very strong signals actually that we should take serious, or at least become more aware to just see if it's really going there. Dawn is saying, this prevented me a long time ago from a robbery and I had no idea about the meditation technique. Oh, Dawn has more to say. That little voice told me to skip the post office and walk to another shop. When I passed the office later, it was robbed. Yeah, so Dawn's intuition, Dawn's heart picked up some signals about something is going to happen. And that's what I forgot to tell, because our intuition is a kind of time travel. It can sense the future. Because it takes time for our five senses to get interpreted by our brain, we often are a few milliseconds too late. And scientists even have done studies on this as well. They showed pictures to students, pictures of flowers, beautiful scenery, and pictures of horror scenes, shootings, blood, gore, I don't know. And they had to, before the picture came up, they had to click the right mouse button or left mouse button, depending on if it was going to be a nice view, a nice picture, or it was going to be a scary picture. And so they had to guess up front. And they did measurements on the heart rate variability on those people as well. And they saw that a few seconds before the picture came up, our heart rate changed. And it was consistent with, the type of change was consistent with the picture that came up. And they saw that people who kind of were more intuitive, who listened to their heart, often guessed the right picture. And those that didn't listen to their heart, they weren't so intuitive, they guessed wrong more often. But it was quite interesting that they noticed that the heart reacted before the picture came up and before the person clicked on the mouse button. So we are kind of a little fortune teller inside of us as well. But that's all quantum physics actually as well. I tell about that in my course in transformational meditation because we use it a lot. Okay, I hope you found a comfortable position. Let's get started. Please close your eyes. Make sure you have good enough support. Take a good, nice deep inhale. And exhale. Lower your shoulders, loosen your jaw. Another nice deep inhale. And exhale and relax. Feel yourself getting ready. One more nice deep inhale. And exhale. Breathe normally, but try to breathe a little slower and a little deeper than you usually would do. A little slower and a little deeper. And on your next exhale, try to relax your muscles even more. And let the day go for a moment. Notice where you feel your breath the most. Maybe you feel your breath the most in your nostrils or the back of your throat. Maybe in your chest or your tummy. Notice where you feel your breath the most. Put your attention there on that point, right on that point where you feel your breath the most. Notice how your breath goes in and out through that point. Try to follow your breath, use it as an anchor. But just notice when you notice during this session that your mind has wandered off or your thoughts are all over the place. Just simply without judgment get back to your breath. No harm done, no frustrations, just get back to your breath. Now I want you to think about a question you would like to ask your heart. Let's use our intuition today. So think about the question you would like to ask your intuition, your heart, and make it a question that can be answered with yes or no. If you thought about a question, then I want you to move your attention to your heart space. You can help by putting your hand on your fingers on your heart, on your chest, right there where your heart is. Focus on your heart. Your hand or your fingers on your chest, right there where your heart is. And imagine breathing through your heart. Just imagine it. Breathing in through your heart, out through your heart. In through your heart, out through your heart. Focus on your heart, hand on your chest over your heart, and breathe through your heart, nice and calm, nice and slow. In a moment we will ask our heart that question you want to ask, and your heart will answer yes or no, and very, very quickly. It's the first answer that comes to mind. If you think too much about it, your brain, your emotions, your feelings, everything you've learned, everything you try to correlate an answer to, logic, all that stuff is all going to interfere with the answer. And our heart with our electromagnetic field is directly connected to what we call the quantum field, where everything can happen, has already happened, will happen. All information is there at any time. So while breathing nice and calm through your heart, just relax. You can say, "Dear heart," and ask your question. And then the first answer that comes up, a yes or a no, is the right answer. So let's do that now. Breathe through your heart. And say for yourself, "Dear heart," ask your question. The first answer that comes up is the right one. Very good. Now just hold on to that answer. You can think a little bit about what that means for you. Now, as we breathe through our heart, let's create a feeling of gratitude inside of us. And to help, you can visualize something you are grateful for. Could be anything, big or small, doesn't matter. Maybe it's a person or a pet or just a day or any other day or a situation that happened you were grateful for. Live that moment inside of you as if it is happening right now, and feel that gratitude you had back then, that you usually have in such situations. Feel it with your whole body. Let every cell of your body vibrate with that feeling. You might notice yourself smiling, that's perfect. You might notice a warmth rushing through you or a feeling of light. It's all okay. Create that feeling of gratitude inside of you as you breathe through your heart. Very good. Now let's slowly get back to our group. Notice the room you are in. Notice any sounds in the room. Just getting back to the present moment. Take a good inhale and exhale as you move your body back and forth and from side to side. And wiggle with your fingers and toes, and when you are ready, open your eyes. Type back in the chat when you are back. Welcome back, Dawn. For those on Discord who started the meditation tracker, you can type stop tracker or tracker stop in the chat. Great, Ela, well done. Welcome back everyone on Instagram as well. Great work. So yeah, heart-brain coherence, breathing through our heart, strong focus on our heart, balances our nervous system, gives optimal flow of information through the nervous system between our heart and our brain. Also know that our heart sends 5 times more information to the brain than the brain does to the heart. So that already says enough how much we can use our heart as actually a sensory organ. And it doesn't only communicate over our nervous system, it also communicates with blood pressure, and it communicates with electromagnetic field as well, because our brain is inside that electromagnetic field of the heart, and our brain itself also has an electromagnetic field, though much smaller, but still extends beyond our head, but not as large as our heart. So they interfere with each other, they communicate with each other that way as well. So therefore also the information flow is very, very quick between the heart and the brain. Great work. Thank you, Dorota, on Instagram for joining. It's good to see you, good to have you here. And I hope to see you back on Wednesday again for our energy session. And then I have arranged an interview, or at least I will be interviewed on Saturday. That will be early in the morning for those in Europe. It will be at 6 a.m. GMT. That will be 8 a.m. Central European time. It will be an interview about my work, about meditation, about transformation, about manifestation. So join me then. It will be on Zoom, so I guess the links and everything I will get. I don't know, at least it is a recording for a podcast, so even if it's not live for people, it will be recorded. I will get the recording and I'll make sure I send it out. So we'll see. Will be fun. So, again, thank you for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep practicing this meditation, especially in the morning, just to get your intention and your state of being set for the day. And use it throughout the day. Whenever you can ask your heart a question like this, you can practice it, and you will notice it getting better and stronger by time. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste, everyone. Take care.